Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Friday. I hope it finds you well out there. The trees are blooming here in Arizona. I think it's gonna touch 99 degrees this weekend. But don't worry. They're saying it's going to cool off. So we won't have 100 degrees, at least for a little while longer, but definitely been fighting some of allergies going on right now, but don't worry, I'm going to power through it. It's the year of chaos, and chaos is exactly what we're getting. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. Yesterday, we had the Silver Spectacular Day 1. Today will be Day 2. Some different things, opportunities, once again, to buy silver. Some of it's below spot. Some of it today is going to be right at cost. So some more good opportunities coming in the next segment for you to take advantage of. Having said all of that, oh, by the way, allamericangold.com is the website. You may want to go out there and listen to Lynette Zhang and what she had to say about getting ready, right? Because I get it. Everyone is out there waiting for the shoe to drop. And sometimes you get paralyzed when that happens, right? Because you're waiting. Well, God, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? You always want to be ready before it drops. You know what I'm saying? You always want to be prepared before it happens. Having said that, we got a response from Israel last night. And what a fine line, right? There, I guess I'll call it a baby response, a response that I'm sure the hardliners in the Israeli government and the Israeli military probably didn't like. A response that I think they're hoping that the hardliners in Iran will be kept at bay because it was such, I guess, an insignificant, if you will, response and trying to hope that World War III doesn't break out. We'll see what happens. I know right now that's what the market is betting on, Jason, that, well, you know, they didn't blow up any nuclear sites and they didn't really do a whole lot. I think they hit like one base in Iran. And I think the markets are hoping that at least for right now, this will be the end of it.
We'll see, right? We'll see, Joe. It's the other. They sprinkle a little bit of tension every few days, you know, every month or so. And where is the actual fireworks going to happen? The real, right. not the fireworks we're seeing in these videos. When's it actually going to be something more serious? Because it sure looks like they're just waiting for the right timing. Whatever the timing is, Joe, I'm sure there's a date that's picked out. You know, kind of like April 19th. We'll talk about maybe next hour.
Right.
Picking a date, right? Picking a date.
It is April 19th. For those of you that don't know, Jason actually reminded me today, right? That was the date with Randy Weaver, Oklahoma City, Waco, and then Oklahoma City. All of those on the 19th of April. So is this part of the legacy of the 19th of April? Remains to be seen, but nonetheless interesting in itself. We'll see. Right now, gold's up 11 and a half, let's call it 12 now, 23.94. When it first happened, when it was first reported, we saw gold back above 2,400. If this thing escalates, right, obviously everything's going to go just crazy in the gold and silver market. Silver up 25 cents right now. Silver's been above $29 right now, below at 28.64 on the May contract. I'm watching copper right now. Copper over $4.50. Just continuing to put the pressure on this commodities thing, things that are real This is what happens when you get hyperinflation. Things that are real get more expensive. That's just what it is. Food is real. Land is real. Housing is real. Gold and silver are real. Right? Copper's real. And they really just keep going up. And then Bank of America. Are we getting ready now? Are we starting to see the beginnings of social credit scores? Are we starting to see this happen? A lot of you out there know this. Some of you don't. Especially, you know what? A lot of people are finding it out now with car insurance. Right? Car insurance rates have gone crazy. So a lot of people are like, well, I'm going to call around. Right? I'm going to call around. See if I can get a better rate somewhere. They get a better rate somewhere, and then all of a sudden, they call you back. Oh, I'm sorry. Your credit score's too low for that rate. Yeah, no, you don't qualify for that rate, right? You got to pay a higher rate because what does credit score and car insurance have to do with one another? But there it is. How about in China? China now. People that are not paying their mortgages are now being banned from getting on the mass transit. You can't get on the trains. You can't get on flights. Right? China's starting to squeeze people, saying, "Hey, if you want to go somewhere, you better pay your bills." And then Bank of America is being accused of canceling customer accounts based on political views. They're denying this, but I'll give you an update on it when we return. Kind of interesting. How close is social credit scores? I think a lot closer than people think. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason, Patriot Radio News Hour, wrapping up another week. A quick look in at the markets. The Dow right now is up 180. The S&P is down 10 and change, right at 5,000 right now on the S&P. The NASDAQ is down 140 points. The 10-year note, as remember yesterday, we're now expecting currency interventions in Japan, in Korea. I expect China to continue to do what they're doing. And remember, currency intervention is just a fancy way of saying we're going to sell dollars to try to get the dollar to be weaker so our currency will be stronger. Crude oil, by the way, so 10-year note right now, 462. Crude oil, it's up today, but hey, it could be a lot worse, right? Right now, it's up 60 cents. 83 and change. Brent's at $88. Again, hoping that at least for now, Iran is not going to escalate this after Israel launched what I'll call a baby strike. You know, kind of a, hey, we had to do something, and this is the least we could do, and they probably did the least. Gold's up 12, 23.94 and change. Silver's up 30 cents here, $28.70. And we keep telling you, get diversified here. We're going to talk about getting debanked here in a minute. It's the worst thing ever. And you have no recourse. It's incredible that they can just send you a letter saying, hey, by the way, we don't want you as a customer anymore, but they can't. You need to get diversified all over the place. You got to get your gold and silver put away. Have something in Wall Street. You got to be in Wall Street. Have something that you get a really good rate of return, and it's not correlated to Wall Street. I think that's really smart right now. Check out our friends. We talk about it all the time at Refi. And it's something you feel good about, too. It really is. It's a great company. We don't need government student loan forgiveness. We just need companies like Refi. If you have $50,000 or more, you can get a great fixed rate of return up to 10.25%. It's not correlated to Wall Street. You can do whatever you want. You can turn your income on. You can use it as income. You can compound it. You can do whatever you want. There's no fees. They don't attack principal. They don't play games. That's why I really love them. Check them out. InvestYRefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com. Or just call them at 888-YREFI-24. Before we get into what's going on with Bank of America, here's what we've got today. So Jason was able to go through some more stuff. We've got 20 more rolls of 40%. Most of them are Kennedys. Some of them are Eichmann. They're 40% half dollars. I've only got 20 rolls of them. They're $75. That's like almost now approaching $3.50 below spot. So a roll of these 40% is just under 3 ounces of silver. So you're paying $25.35. And we're talking about silver at $28.70. There's 20 of those rolls left. We have 4 Morgan and Peace rolls left from yesterday. They're $5.95. That's basically, you're buying them pretty much at cost right there. But there's only 4 of those left. We sold out. We don't have any of the bars. Today, I've got 75. I wish I had more, but I don't. I've got 75 rolls of quarters, silver quarters. These are pre-1965, so 1964 and older silver quarters. You get 40 silver quarters in a roll. The roll is $210. You get 7.15 ounces of silver in every one of those rolls. That works out to $29.37, which is 15 cents above cost. I looked around. Everybody wants $2.45, $2.50. The cheapest guys, maybe there's somebody out there at $2.40. 75 rolls, essentially right at cost here at $210. So you got three great items to choose from. 800-951-0592, and things circulating on X and all the social media accounts. John Eastman, for those of you that don't know, he was a former lawyer from Trump. He just got debanked from Bank of America and USAA. So both companies debanked. Of course, USAA, right? That's like insurance, but they're a bank too, right? They needed help, and was saying that he was being debanked because of his MAGA associations, and 15. Here's where it gets interesting. Now, Bank of America's denying this. Of course they are. I don't know. Why did the guy get debanked? I have no idea. 15 Republican attorney generals signed a letter warning Bank of America's CEO Brian Moynihan against its alleged discriminatory behavior targeting people for their political or religious views. Your bank needs to be transparent and assure us, its shareholders and others, that it will not continue to debank customers for their speech or religious exercise. Now again, Bank of America is denying this, that they're denying that they're debanking people for that. They said that religious beliefs are not a factor in any account closing decisions. And then they said that they're proud to provide banking services to nonprofit organizations affiliated with diverse faith communities throughout the United States. But you know what I didn't hear him say? I didn't hear him say that we're not doing this based on someone's political view. I didn't see that. Maybe the article just didn't show it. But Jason, interesting that it's caught the attention of 15 Republican attorney generals warning Bank of America about their debanking practices.
Yeah, this is this is something that we worry about digital currencies, this becoming a common practice, not just a targeted situation that you're talking about here. As time goes on and these laws continually get much more tightened around the citizenry, being debanked is, I mean, it's going to be commonplace. Otherwise, I'm talking about in Canada, people already being denied several, simple banking situations, and not knowing why it is that they are not being able to move their money in and out of the bank at all in some cases. And so one of the reasons you bring this up, Joe, is because of what we do, which is, look, you have to have other options. Because right now it seems like they're not just stealing the money from you yet. It's not happening yet. But it could take, what if something happens? They decide that they've identified you incorrectly as whatever. Well, we'll have to investigate this for 3 months. Then you can have access to your account. What are you going to do for 3 months, right, Joe?
We'll get back to you. Yeah, we'll get back to you. We'll let you know.
Have an option.
And this is something where, again, it just feels like this is where it's heading, right? I mean, the only reason why someone should be debanked is you routinely have negative account balances, right? You bounce checks all over the place, and this, okay, yeah. Hey, guess what? Your account's been negative for the last 60 days. We're going to debank you. That would make sense. Is there really any other reason that these banks should be doing this? No, but again, this is part of the social credit score. Obviously, hey, you're into, I don't know, child sex trafficking, drugs. Oh, yes, all of those things. But simply because, well, we just don't like your political views, we don't like what you posted on X or Facebook or what have you, Jason, this is becoming a big problem. It's one thing, right? They've targeted lots of different businesses. They don't like businesses that withdraw large amounts of cash from their banks. They hate that. We know that. But now it looks like this debanking, it just seems like it grows. Every 30, 60, 90 days, we kind of hear more about people seemingly being debanked for reasons that don't make any sense. And the bad part is, it's not like you get to call the bank and ask them. I mean, you can. You go into your branch. The manager won't tell you. I don't know. Here's what they're going to say. Well, that was our credit risk department determines that. I have no control over that. There's nothing I can do. They don't even tell you why. You would think that should be a requirement, right? Hey, you can debank somebody, but you need to tell them why they got debanked. You know what? I think that should be at least the minimum standard, but it's not.
You would think, right? you would think there would be some common sense behind it. How about some Fourth Amendment protections? But those are like in the past somewhere, right, Joe? Those things are. The Constitution is an old document. We need to interpret that document. It is not what it says. That's for an ancient time. We need things better. We need safety. We need security. We need modern day measures, right? Like that thing they passed in Washington, old Johnson passed.
Those people, when you open up an account and it's click here, initial there, sign here, click OK. Nobody's reading that stuff. Right, it's just on a little machine, and they just tell you click, click, click. You got that little pen thing, right? You sign all. It's incredible the power that the banks have, not only on your money, on you. Right now, all these people that get debanked, they should be getting together and having a class action lawsuit against these banks, suing these banks. Why are you debanking me, right? You know what? I don't do drugs. I don't break the law. I'm a hardworking citizen. They can't. It's illegal. Yeah. Nope. It's right in you clicked OK and you signed here, right? You can't even open up a bank account unless you agree that you can't do things like that. It truly is amazing how much power the government, the Federal Reserve, gives to these financial institutions, and most people are absolutely in the dark until it happens to them, Jason. Right? They think, oh, no, that can't be how it is. No, that's exactly how it is. Why do you think they can just get away with sending you a letter? By the way, you're debanked. Right? Starting on April 20th, you no longer bank here. Why? It doesn't matter. You're done. See ya. Right? And that's what is happening now. And again, like I said, for 15 attorney generals to send a letter to the CEO of Bank of America, obviously there's a lot of people that feel like this social credit score thing is coming to the banking industry.
So I think the social credit score is going to be necessary for all of this stuff that they're putting out on us, right, Joe? The social credit score. I mean, let's face it. Everyone is always worried about their credit score, your credit score, your credit score. You know, hey, I got to get a higher credit score. Why? Because we're in a debt money system and everyone is in debt. But you know when a credit score doesn't seem to matter so much? When you don't need to borrow any money. Right, Joe? So a social credit score is going to be even more important because it's going to be just more than just your financial situation. This is so okay. Maybe you don't need to borrow money, but now we're gonna make for anyone to do any kind of business at all with you if you don't fall in line, right, Joe?
Patriot Radio News Hour, the Silver Spectacular, Day 2. Pick it up while you can. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason on this Friday, the second day of the Silver Spectacular. I don't know how, but we still have 20 rolls of those 40% $half. I don't get it, right? Over $3 below spot, $75. I mean, are you kidding me? We got a few Morgan and Peace left at $5.95, and then these quarters, they're going quick here at $2.10. I mean, the quarters in the Morgan and Peace, you're essentially almost right at cost on these items. Yep. So, U.S. hallmarked, all three of these items are U.S. government hallmarked on top of that. You're just not able to buy U.S. government hallmark silver for that kind of price, especially now with Silver Eagle premiums starting to creep back up again. This is just a great opportunity to get in. $75 on rolls of halves, $5.95 on the couple of Morgan and Peace rolls. These are 21 Morgans and Peace dollars. They're kind of mixed together at $5.95. And then rolls of pre-1965 silver quarters at $210 at 800-951-0592. And Jason, it doesn't happen often, but when we can do it, this is the kind of deals you can get.
Yeah, and on those 40% Kennedy half dollars, it's not a popular type of silver to buy. That's why we buy it very cheap and we sell it very cheap. This price is cheap enough that and I haven't checked around because we sell and we buy from our customers. But it's possible you could probably buy these and call some local or some place that's buying silver. You might be able to make money on these. It's that cheap. You know, some companies will buy this stuff at spot. Usually it's under spot. So you are very likely buying these 40% half dollars at a price that you might be able to just turn it. Otherwise, I mean, let's face it. If you somewhere in the future you guys need to come back and sell them back to us, you're going to be doing just fine on this because you bought it so well. That's all about buying. The other thing is, anytime you buy something, you always kind of want to think what's your exit strategy when you sell something. Well, if you can buy something ridiculously cheap, then it's going to be easy to sell it, even if you have to sell it low. If we buy it back from you $1 or $200 under spot, when you sell it to us, you're going to be ahead, especially given the trajectory of silver, Joe. There's only 20 of them, so that's it. We don't sell these very much. There's only 20 of them.
Yeah, we got this in. This was an estate. The parents had passed. This got handed down, and the kids are just here it all is, and this is the last of it here. 800-951-0592. A ominous warning from Vanguard. So Vanguard, right, the big 401k provider, talking about the U.S. Treasury market and what they're calling the danger zone, saying that the Treasury market is in the danger zone right now, and they're calling the 475 level the critical zone. So think about this. The 10-year note has been between, say, 4.6 and, 4.68. It may have touched 4.7 one day this week. But they're saying if the yield on the 10-year note goes above 4.75, it is going to force investors, the paper guys, to abandon their bets on a rally. In other words, everyone's still hoping that on Fed rate cuts, right, later this year, are going to have to turn and sell and immediately push yields above 5% and could go higher from there. And Jason, this is kind of one of those things where we're starting to get a little nervous here, especially now with Japan, Korea, throw China in there. All of them need to sell treasuries to protect their currencies. And let's face it, we're piling on the debt this weekend. The big vote this weekend. Right? They want another $95 billion, right? Speaker Johnson's hoping to get some Democrats to join on board so they can give money to Ukraine and Israel and Taiwan and Palestine and whoever else, right? That's just going right to the national debt, Jason. Just boom, right there, one big shot. And this is something where, when Vanguard talks, you need to pay attention.
Yeah, Vanguard, I think it's the only company that's publicly traded that you can't see who the owners of the company is. When you look at all the companies on the stock exchange, you can look it up, just do a Google search, and you can see who the majority owners of the stock are, even BlackRock and State Street. But Vanguard, oh no, nobody knows who owns that one. We don't know the percent. Does BlackRock own some of that? Does State Street? No, big mystery. And so since we don't really know, and that's what the biggest of the companies is Vanguard. When they're speaking, you should probably listen, because if you don't get to know who owns their company, but you get to know who actually is inside BlackRock's company, most likely they have a privacy for a reason. And if they're saying, what is it? What is it? The 10-year? No. What if it gets to 5%? It's like an emergency. If it hits 5%, it's like blood in the street sort of thing. And I wonder if that's the sort of thing they're looking at, Joe.
Well, that's exactly what they're saying. And they're saying, hey, it'll be quick, right? Hey, it breaks 475. All of a sudden, everybody's got to get out of their trades because they're going to get margin called. They're going to take big losses. They got to go the other way. And again, you start thinking about the cost of a move like that. What does that add to the debt? Well, there's another 100, 200 billion more dollars on the national debt, right? Bank of America already warned what's going to happen at 4.5. Heck, we're already past 4.5. And it's something where, again, I think this is the year of chaos. And the thing that I think is going to be interesting about this is, A, will they do it at all? And B, do they want to, and I'm talking about the Fed, do they want to be perceived as playing politics and lowering rates right near the election and then it being perceived they're trying to help Joe Biden? Right? I would say this. We need to get if we don't have a Fed rate cut by August, September, I don't think we're going to get one, because I think the Fed will then be like, it's too close to the election. That's just me. But now Vanguard's saying, hey, we may not have that kind of time. Right? Vanguard's now saying, hey, we're in the critical zone right now. It's going to be interesting how this all plays out. Patriot Radio News Hour. Listen, we got 2 phone lines still open. Get this silver put away. 800-951-0592. Jason and I, we're going to be right back with more. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason, day two, the final day here on the Silver Spectacular. We have a few rolls left of the $50 at $75. And I should say the 40% $50 at $75 a roll. Your $3+ you know, $3.25, $3.50 under spot on those. And then the rolls of silver quarters, I think this is just a great deal. At $210, you're essentially right at cost. You're buying it at cost. When you think about rolls of silver quarters, those 40 silver quarters, 7.15 ounces of silver in there, that's $29.37. I mean, silver's $28.63 right now. You're right there on all of these items. Yeah. You just can't get that kind of value. It's just limited, though.
I bet we sell quarters sometime next week, and this price will be long behind us. So these are 75 rolls at this price only, and after Friday's come and gone, most likely it's. I mean, I guess we might have it on Monday, but I don't see that. So I wouldn't wait because this is a one-day only type thing.
We're going to be $240. That's the price, $240, and we're cheaper than most people. I'm sorry, quarters $230. Right? We're $230, so you're saving $20. And at $230, we're the cheapest around. But this is even better. $210, 800-951-0592. The NIBF, they're the small business lobby group. We donate to them, saying that they have a much different perspective on the state of the economy than the government reports, saying that roughly 60% of all companies in the United States have less than 10 employees, right? But small business is what drives this economy. And they're saying that, hey, by the way, the confidence that these businesses have, we're at levels now. Well, let's see. Let's go back here. We're worse than the initial invasion of Iraq. We're worse than 9/11. We're worse than the first Gulf Wars. Remember in the 90s, that recession? And they're approaching now levels last seen during the credit crisis, Jason. So you know what? You sit there and you start thinking about, here's another sign. Right? That's the small businesses which drive this economy. I mean, let's face it, it does. Right? And the struggle and another wave of inflation, how many more businesses is that going to push over the edge? I don't know. Did you see Red Lobster saying that they think they're going to have to file for bankruptcy because because they can't pay their debts. And they're saying, hey, long-term debt and leases is getting to the point where they no longer can operate and basically got caught with the unlimited endless shrimp. That can't be a deal anymore at Red Lobster. It costs them too much money.
Yeah, we've noticed, especially since COVID, the whole buffet restaurant model has been going away, hasn't it, Joe? There's a lot of hungry people that'll save their appetite up for that cheap, even if you boost the prices. People are starting to figure out, well, how much do I need to eat to make money on that thing? And yeah, there's not a lot of that left. I mean, all you can eat. Yeah, I remember how many places used to have that, or do they have like a day during the week, the all-you-can-eat special, or the bottomless fries,
endless
and all that
pasta,
stuff.
unlimited shrimp, right? Now, Red Lobster just essentially said, man, we just can't afford. They can't raise the price enough. Right? Think about it, right? Just make it more expensive. And then, because the problem is they've got to order huge quantities, right, to get the best price. And then if they price it too high, they don't sell it, right? They're damned if they do, damned if they don't. but it really is an interesting situation. And then I've got an update on BRICS. Membership, which we know, doubled in January. Right? We know, Saudi Arabia, UAE, amongst others, joined the BRICS countries. And now, apparently, guess what? More countries want to and actually have now applied for admission to BRICS. Algeria, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Bolivia, Kazakhstan, Cuba, Kuwait, Nigeria, Pakistan, Palestine, okay, Senegal, Thailand, Venezuela, Vietnam, and Belarus have now formally applied to membership into the BRICS. And Jason, when you pick out certain countries here, Algeria, Bahrain, Kuwait, Nigeria, Venezuela, right? What are these? These are the oil producers, right? They're getting the rest of the oil producers into the BRICS. And this is just another sign. Listen, just this week, SWIFT reported China has now officially passed Japan as the fourth most used currency in their system, and Great Britain, they're next, right? And they're saying, hey, they're coming, right? Here they come, Jason, and look at the amount of countries. I mean, this one essentially, you're talking about going from 5 to 10 to 25. I mean, it's starting to have this effect.
It looks like it's going to keep going, doesn't it, Joe? That's just the pattern.
Guess what that means? Wait a minute. We need less dollars. Huh.
Yep.
Man, is that a pattern? Seems like that's what everybody's starting to say. Huh. No wonder Vanguard started to warn you. Get yourself protected. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Got two lines still open. We still got a few $50, 40% at $75. We got some quarters at $2.10 at 800-951-0592. Right now, silver's up 30 now, $28.70 for the May contract. Gold's up 11. This is an April contract, so this is live, 11 and a half. $23.94. If you're looking to get into gold, $20 liberties, $25.25. So that's still great value. I mean, that's about $130 over spot. Right, so that's almost $2,400, $23.94, $2,525 on a $20 gold piece. Jason, man, you just can't go wrong right now in the gold and silver markets. 800-951-0592, and kind of shocking the amount of countries that have applied for BRICS membership. And again, it just seems like they're going to have pretty much most of the major oil producers outside of the United States as part of BRICS.
It's that is quite the list, isn't it? They compare the population totals of who's in the BRICS versus who's considered the West, and it keeps moving more and more towards the BRICS. But we'll see how that all unwinds. I mean, it's in we know that the dollar is not popular, and that when the dollar shows the inflation, that it's going to cause a lot of stress all over the place. So Joe, I could see the extremely horrible, big, huge mess that can come from this, but I could also see a situation where it's just progressively worse every year to where we just get used to it being bad. Every year, a little more, until it balances into whatever system we end up having. But I wanted to say one thing about those silver quarters and the silver $50. I set up a bunch of appointments for the people that bought them yesterday. today, if you want. Essentially, you can get this invoice put in. I'll put you on the schedule today. You can come pick them up, because I know Friday's a popular time to pick stuff up before the weekend. So I'm here in Fort Lupton. So if you do order this stuff, I'll be able to get you set up as early as today, or I could schedule you in next week here in Fort Lupton. But it's buy this stuff, right, Joe? Buy it when it becomes available at these prices.
And I'm just kind of looking at, what Vanguard's been saying, this agreement with our Treasury, Janet Yellen, with Japan and Korea, and what people don't understand is as the dollar, right, we're getting farther and farther from rate cuts, right? The dollar keeps getting higher, the bond yields keep rising. That essentially delivers inflation to any country that's using dollars, because their currency gets weaker, and it makes things more expensive for them. And again, I think this is why you're seeing so many countries now wanting to flock to the BRICS. And when we're talking about less, it's not like Jason said. It's not like, oh my gosh, right? Everybody's going to use the renminbi starting tomorrow. No. But think about 10 years ago, the renminbi wasn't used at all. Now SWIFT is saying, well, it's almost 5% of everything they do, and that doesn't count cross-border stuff. What happens when it gets to 10%, 12%, 15%, right? Gets to where the euro's at, 16%. That's when it's really going to get interesting. 800-951-0592. Get that silver put away. Get that gold put away. Jason and I are going to wrap up the week on the Half Empty Cup.